The special session continues down in Austin, but just for a few more days. It's actually beginning to wind down. And joining us to talk about the latest there, and also we'll get some campaign news, as it seems like Beto O'Rourke's getting ready to tour the state again and raise some money. Right now, we'll visit with Patrick Svitek of the Texas Tribune. Hey, Patrick, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us today. Well, we've got, just a handful of days left down in the special session, and what we've got now, just two bills that are being sent to the governor so far, two pieces of legislation. Is that correct?
Not even quite yet. Hopefully, after some final votes today, those two bills will be sent to the governor.
Oh, so they're still just on their way. They're on their way,
yeah.
maybe. Okay,
they're en route.
So the governor, early on in the special session, everybody was coming up with pens and slogans, and the governor and the lieutenant governor were, they had the slogan 20 for 20. What are we looking at? Maybe 3 for 20, 4 for 20, maybe tops.
I think it's hard to say right now. I think right now there are some areas for optimism. If you're Governor Abbott, you're obviously getting that must-pass sunset legislation to his desk very soon. And there's been some positive momentum this week on a number of issues, including more than one abortion related issue. There's been some momentum on annexation reform, which was an item on the call. There's been momentum on a crackdown on mail-in ballot fraud, which was another item on the call. And so it's hard right now to say, how many of the 20 that he's going to get. But I think at this point, there's reason to be optimistic that he could end up with, maybe in the high single digits. Speaking very optimistically, maybe in the low teens. So, what are the two pieces of legislation today that the House could send to the governor's desk? Yeah, those are so-called sunset bills. They're bills that would prevent some state agencies from closing. The failure of lawmakers to agree on them during the regular session was one of the reasons that the governor had to call them back for this special session. But that's kind of the low-hanging fruit on this agenda. There's obviously 19 other items, many of them very ambitious items and very controversial items. And so that's just kind of the first order of business in some ways. So what's the latest when it comes to me, the bathroom bill has been dead since the regular session. I mean, really, when I spoke to the House Speaker, and the House Speaker spoke to just about everybody, saying in his mind it's a no-go. To me, that means it's dead. But this special session continues to prove that. At least that's what it looks like. What about property tax reform? That's something that Republicans have been pushing. Is there any momentum there with only five or 6 days left? Yeah, there actually is, and it's actually tomorrow could, in this regard, could be one of the most pivotal days of the special session. The House is set to take up a modified version of the Senate's chief property tax proposal. This is that so-called rollback election proposal, and the governor has said that it's his top item basically for the special session, or his top priority for special session is property tax reform. So if this bill can make it through the House tomorrow, this Senate bill that's already passed the Senate, I think that would be a significant breakthrough and would be pretty important in terms of the governor's thinking about whether we need to have another special session, or just an important key to his overall satisfaction with how this special session is going or went when it's all done. Any rumors, any talk about another special session? Not quite yet. The governor was quoted at a fundraiser the other night as joking about maybe calling lawmakers back in January. I was told not to put too much stock into that as a serious suggestion. But, in public, his posture has been that, let's wait and see how we finish this one. And he's, even said it's just too early to speculate about whether that's going to be necessary. So the next few days are going to be quite pivotal to see how many of these things get done, basically. Absolutely. Like I said, property tax is really on Saturday on the House floor. I think it's going to be a really key moment for just everyone involved. Yeah. Let's talk about some campaign stuff, because I know you cover a lot of the campaigns here in Texas. Beto O'Rourke, you had a piece out, I believe it was yesterday. He's going on a 34-day road trip. That's a long road trip. It is, and he began it at the end of July, and it just wasn't until recently that he committed to staying on the road until the end of August, basically until August 31st when he's going home to El Paso, and that would amount to a 34-day road trip. Obviously, he faces very long odds in his challenge to Ted Cruz, but this is the kind of work that's going to be required if he wants to even stand a chance. He's really just going to every corner of the state and meeting with everyone, not just holding formal campaign events like town halls and meet and greets, but also doing some less informal stuff. I talked to him yesterday when he was in Wichita Falls, and he had just gotten back from going out in some neighborhoods there and just door knocking by himself. And so obviously putting in a lot of work, and that's the kind of work that you need to at least have a fighting chance against someone like Ted Cruz.
I saw a tweet that you put out, or you may have retweeted it, and it was Senator Cornyn kind of coming to Mitch McConnell's defense in this Trump versus McConnell deal. What do you read into that? Is this just Senate leadership staying together and trying to protect their own, or are we seeing more of a split between D.C. Republicans who have been there for a while, and the president, who is not really an ideologue and someone who is willing to fight his own party?
Yeah, I mean, I think it. Just on first glance, I definitely see it as just Senate leadership sticking together. But I think it will be interesting. There's been some reports that, as Trump's agenda is stalled in Congress, that he's going to kind of brand himself as more of an outsider and more removed politically from Republicans in Washington. And it'll certainly be interesting to see how Texas Republicans like John Cornyn, who's in Senate leadership, continue to react to the distance that the president is putting between himself and Republicans in Congress.
Well, and Cruz, Cruz has,
right.
They battled, obviously, but Cruz has been kind of a good soldier for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
What is, it'll be interesting to see what Cruz does on this, and if he goes to battle with John Cornyn and Mitch McConnell. Very fascinating how this could break out. Patrick, what are you working on for this weekend, and what can people expect to see over the next few days over at the Texas Tribune's website?
Yeah, like I said, we're 100% focused on the special session now and watching this property tax reform bill on the House tomorrow, and whether it's able to get through and satisfy one of the really top priorities for the special session by the governor. That's where all our focus is right now, and then hopefully next week we'll, as far as the governor's concerned, we'll see some more movement on some of his other priorities on the House floor.
All right, Patrick, as always, appreciate your time. Folks, you can read more from Patrick Svitek and the other reporters there at texastribune.org. Patrick, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ted. Have a good weekend.
You too. That's Patrick Svitek, Texas Tribune.